Good evening. This is the World News in your premium talk radio today, 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Buchira Fwa with the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari reinstates former VC of University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundigbe. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, is set to hand over contract files awarded between 2001 and 2019 to auditors for forensic scrutiny. And Senator Ali Ndum expresses concern over use of high-caliber weapon by Boko Haram extremists in northern eastern Nigeria. And on the foreign scene, ECOWAS court orders immediate release of 12 soldiers jailed in aftermath of coup in Mali. Now the details. The federal government has reinstated Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundigbe as the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, UNILAG. And this was disclosed in a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Ministry of Education, Ben Bem Gong. Gong stated that the decision was taken by President Muhammadu Buhari, who approved the report of the Special Visitation Panel set up by the federal government to investigate the management crisis rocking the institution. The approved report by President Muhammadu Buhari says the removal of Professor Ogundigbe did not follow due process. It said the Vice-Chancellor was not granted an opportunity to defend himself on the allegations upon which his removal was based. It could be recalled that the Minister of Education, Adamu, had in September received the report of the visitation panel on behalf of the federal government. Adamu also assured that the recommendations of the panel would be scrutinized with the aim of full implementation. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved the establishment of an Economic Sustainability Committee as part of a plan to provide electricity for 25 million citizens who lacked access to national grid. A Special Assistant Media and Communication to the Minister of Power, Aaron Artemas, announced the plan for ESC in Abuja. Artemis said the program, tagged Energy for All, is aimed at providing 5 million solar connections to various locations throughout the country in collaboration with state governments. He added that the committee will ensure accelerated progress and efficiency between the implementing partners and the state governments. The ESC is further expected to attract investments of solar panel manufacturers into Nigeria, building on the work already done by Naseni and others. The National Broadcasting Commission has urged broadcast stations in the country to independently verify the authenticity of information obtained on social media before passing it on to the general public. An acting Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, gave the advice while speaking on a television program monitored from Port Harcourt. Idachaba said the Commission might be forced to raise the fine imposed on some broadcast stations in October 2020 if they fail to pay the fine, adding that broadcasters were reckless during the reportage of the Lekki shootings on October 20, 2020.
Many broadcasters have abdicated the ethical criteria for fairness and balance. These days, we see a lot of programs that are run that are usually one-sided. The other views are not taken into consideration, and attempts are not made to corroborate. And it is a disturbing trend, really, in the broadcast industry. So we hope that we evolve the tradition, the culture, right, of getting the other side of the story. And like you said, arising from the action of the NBC, there's been a lot of public commentary. Strangely, none of these broadcasters made any effort to even speak with the regulator, and that is not good broadcast practice. We had to impose a sanction because we found out that in the coverage of the NSAS campaign, that many broadcasters began to be reckless in the coverage of the crisis.
And Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has defended the freezing of bank accounts belonging to #NSAS promoters. The governor believes the action is not a conclusion that the accounts were used to sponsor acts of treason. The governor, who doubles as the chairman of the South West Governors Forum, said this in reaction to the latest move by the federal government on NSAS promoters. Although some social commentators and members of the public have described the action of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, as an abuse of power, the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association said the protesters must explain the flow of funds into their accounts. Akeredolu equally downplayed insinuations that the protesters are being charged for a treasonable offense.
I were to be counsel to those people, I would not advise them not to appear for the panel. Accounts are frozen. Is that the first time it's done? So would they have other purpose to which you want to put the account almost immediately? If your account is frozen, you justify why the money was there. You come and explain to what use you have put this money. If it's that, okay, we paid this caterer to give food to these boys when they were there. We spent money between then before the hoodlums took over. It will be explained, people will know, and the account will be frozen. Accounts that are frozen is not that there is a conclusion that account was used for nefarious or acts of treason. No, it's just that, okay, we suspended this account, then the owner of the account will explain. And you can always explain, and the account will be defrozen. Very honestly, I don't see anything wrong in it. You have to go to court and explain. And at the end of the day, the court will say, look, leave the account. The account should be defrozen, and you take your money back. So I don't see any problem in it.
Recall that the Federal High Court in Abuja last Friday granted the request of the CBN to freeze the accounts of 19 individuals and a public affairs company linked to #EndSARS protests. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said the continuous voters registration CVR exercise will commence in the first quarter of 2021. The Commission's acting chairman, Ahmed Muazu, made this known during a virtual meeting with leadership of political parties at INEC National Headquarters in Abuja. And while commending the parties for their role during the recently concluded Edo and Ondo states governorship elections, Muazu urged them to channel all efforts towards adhering to the Commission's Voters' Code of Conduct for elections during the COVID-19 pandemic. And on the crisis that ensued, over which leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council should be given legal recognition by the Commission, Muazu endorsed the Leonard Nzewa faction, ignoring the observation and protest from the national chairman of the Labour Party, Abdul Kadir Abdul Salam. The governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umeyi, has announced that he is leaving the People's Democratic Party. The governor was set to have told the national leadership of the party in Abuja that he would join the ruling All Progressive Congress, which he claimed would protect the interests of the Southeast in the 2023 elections. He said his latest decision was irrevocable. The members of the PDP NWC, who were led to the meeting by its national chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, were said to have tried in vain to convince the governor not to abandon the party. The governor was said to be friendly when he received the PDP delegation, but stuck to his decision to leave the PDP when the issue came up. Meanwhile, the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, says as part of its ongoing forensic audit, a lead consultant will tomorrow take over all original contract files relating to projects and programs awarded by the NDDC between 2001 and 2019 as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari. And Director of Corporate Affairs at the NDDC, Charles Odili, in a statement said that the takeover of contract files by the forensic auditors will mark the commencement of the next stage of the exercise, which started with the handover of contract documents covering projects captured during the verification exercise in April 2020. He stated that the forensic audit is being carried out in phases and the Commission is now ready to kick off the field forensic audit, adding that to ensure the success of the exercise, the NDDC is making available all required documents needed by the field auditors to enable them to discharge their duties efficiently and effectively. Charles Odili further noted that the NDDC management will meet with the forensic auditors to formally release the files, which have been sorted in 16 lots as segmented for the forensic exercise. You are listening to the World News in Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories to stay with us.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still on to the World News in Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. And 25 years after the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other Ogoni environmental activists, the people of Ogoni are demanding justice and exoneration of the Ogoni Nine. The call was made during a walk for justice in Bori in commemoration of the Silver Jubilee anniversary of the killing of Ogoni Nine. And speaking at the event, the only surviving son of Ken Saro-Wiwa, Barikwame Saro-Wiwa, said the biggest lesson he learned from his father was making sacrifices for the benefit of his community.
That's the only thing we can hope for. That's the only thing we can wish for. We can't think about the past or anything that's happened. We can only hope for the future and try to progress. Very emotional. It's a day of triumph. It's a day of celebration. This is his 25th anniversary of his passing. I was only one when he passed, so this means a lot to me. I've never been here in terms of this big of a celebration before, especially being home, which I haven't been in a long time. So I'm happy to be here. I'm sure my family's happy to be here as well. I'm emotional, honestly. I'm trying not to cry. This is a lot to take in, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to represent my family, and especially my father and my dead brothers.
As part of the event marking the anniversary, 9 trees were planted at the Ken Saro-Wiwa Memorial Park representing the Ogoni 9. Meanwhile, stakeholders from Ogoni land have continued to speak on the 25 years of the death of Ken Saro-Wiwa. The River State Commissioner for Energy and Natural Resources, Dr. Peter Mede, while calling for a sober reflection by Ogoni people, expressed hope that in the next 25, the cries of Ogoni people would have been over. Mede also called on Ogoni people to begin to love themselves more even as the struggle for emancipation continues.
I'm looking at another 25 years where those things Ogoni haven't achieved today, we will achieve it. First and foremost, we have the environmental program that is going to take 35 years. In that 25 years, we should have seen an end to environmental injustice. We should have seen an end to a situation where the Ogoni people will begin to love themselves. We begin to see their brothers and say, look, if it is my brother, then it is myself. In that case, that 25 years ahead will make another meaning to us. But if we continue where we are today, then we will mark that 25 years again, and then we will still be counting our losses.
The commissioner also noted that the state government has shown enough commitment to the plight of Ogoni people. Paramount ruler of Abloma, His Royal Majesty retired Brigadier General Bright Boyne Umama, has dismissed claims that he was trying to encroach into a land meant for the whole community, as was reported in the media. The king was speaking against the backdrop of a suit in the High Court sitting in Port Harcourt over a parcel of land ceded to the community by the federal government. And speaking to newsmen in Port Harcourt, the king explained that claimants were in court to compel him to allocate 14 plots of land to each of them, which he said is obtainable.
The truth is that we had an MOU with the federal government back in April 2019, and the land released to us by the federal government peacefully, we started allotting the land for useful purposes. And then the remaining one, which was handed over to the community, that they can look for ways of utilizing so that it will be beneficial to all our sons and daughters. Each house in Abloma was given 1.5 plot of land there out of the 20 houses. But surprisingly, 3 houses decided that they were not going to take the 1.5 plot, that they needed more. And I said, I do not have any extra land where to get the land and give to them. And that was what made them to ask their lawyer, wrote a letter to me demanding 14 plots of land. How I'm going to get the 14 plots of land is something very surprising to me. I kept quiet, and surprisingly, they took me to court because they wanted to twist me to collecting 14 plots each, which didn't happen to the other houses.
The Commissioner of Police in River State, Joseph Vulcan, has been asked to withdraw his men from a property located along Arabia Street, Deline, Port Harcourt. One Archbishop Lillian Briggs made the call following her eviction and immediate conversion of the said property into a police station. A correspondent who was at the location of the property reports that Briggs was evicted from the property following a court judgment secured at the Magistrate Court in Port Harcourt by the children of the original owner of the property, Bishop Friday Mwato. Briggs, in an interview with our correspondent, claimed the property was given to her as a gift by late Mwato, whom she served, and that she never received any court process, including a hearing notice of any kind, before she was evicted.
Tried my best to get to the court to see what was happening with this paper. When I got to the court, they said they will adjourn the case and let us know. So I had to give the name of my lawyer to them. Up till today, I did not hear. My lawyer said, they said, because of the COVID problem and everything, courts had just started and all that, they will call us. The next thing today was this noise and bang, and they came in and packed my 2 things out. I did not get any documentation. I did not get anything. I was not in court any day to go and hearing or anything. I was not there. The day I went, they said nothing was happening because they gave me that paper after the day of court. After the day they put on that court, that was where they gave me. So if I had gone to the court now, what they should have done was to give me an adjournment date, which they said nothing was yet done yet. They will let us know.
Reacting to the development, Protect Its Base human rights advocates Osihaya King said the action of the victors were against the law, stating that the law permits 90 days for a party to appeal the judgment of the magistrate court.
Immediately after the court resumed, there was COVID, and the courts are sitting sparingly, some Tuesday, some Wednesday, some Thursday, and so on and so forth. So I wonder how, if you can see the suit is a 2020 PMC 742 2020. So it's actually a new suit filed sometime in June or July this year, 2020, and they got judgment immediately. So we have to find out, and again, it's a default judgment because said that the woman was not, her client was not represented. So I wonder why she will not be represented.
The Commissioner of Police, Joseph Moken, has promised to investigate the matter. A chairman of the Senate Committee on Army, Senator Ali Ndume, has said the Nigerian Army is being grossly underfunded by the federal government. And Senator Ndume said this while addressing newsmen shortly after the budget defense by the Nigerian Army in the National Assembly, where he added that extremists and bandits are more equipped than the Army. Ndume, who represents the Borno South Senatorial District, observed that the difference between the Nigerian Army and the bandits is that the Army are trained and also wear uniforms. The senator added that some of the bandits operate with AK-47, the latest of AK rifles, while the Army is still using the bandits are operating with AK-49, which is the latest of AK rifles, while the Army is still using AK-47, adding that the bandits have devised means of getting the Army uniform so they could disguise themselves as Nigeria's military personnel. And on the foreign scene, the ECOWAS Court of Justice has ordered the immediate release of 12 former soldiers belonging to the National Committee for the Recovery of Democracy and the Restoration of the State of Mali linked to the 2012 coup d'etat in the Republic of Mali. A statement by the court's press unit stated that the court also ordered the payment of 20 million CFA francs to each of the 12 soldiers as compensation for the violation of the fundamental human rights by the Malian government. George Rapporteur Berry Bear Altara held that the respondent, the Republic of Mali, was liable for violating the rights of Captain Issa Tangara and 11 others, including General Amadou Sanogo. The court equally ordered the Republic of Mali to bear all costs. And elsewhere, still on the foreign scene, all Hong Kong's pro-democracy lawmakers have resigned after Beijing forced the removal of 4 of their colleagues. Beijing had passed a resolution allowing the city's government to dismiss politicians seen as a threat to national security. And shortly afterwards, the opposition lawmakers said that they would leave the city legislature in solidarity. For the first time since Hong Kong was handed back to China in 1997, the body has almost no dissenting voice. A dismissal of the 4 legislators is viewed by many as the latest attempt by China to restrict Hong Kong's freedoms, which Beijing has denied. And in sport, Liverpool's central defender Joe Gomez has been injured in international duty with England. And Gomez suffered the injury during the build-up to the game against the Republic of Ireland on Thursday. England manager Gareth Southgate is expected to provide an update on the seriousness of the issue at a news conference on Wednesday. Liverpool already have Dutch centre-back Virgil van Dijk facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Van Dijk has had surgery on a knee ligament injury picked up against Everton in a 2-2 draw on 17th of October. And to end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has reinstated the former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe. And the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, is set to hand over contract files that were awarded between 2001 and 2009 to auditors for forensic scrutiny. We also told you that Senator Ali Ndume has expressed concerns over the use of high-caliber weapons like AK-49 by Boko Haram extremists in northeastern Nigeria. And on the foreign scene, you heard that the ECOWAS court has ordered the immediate release of 12 soldiers who were jailed in the aftermath of coup in Mali. And that was the news edited by Victor Isiema. For comments and inquiries, please call 081-5341-8657 or 081-4434-3502. Or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Avoid touching your face and high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. Thanking you for listening. I am Buchi Rafwa. Good evening and good night.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Ayé mi dára o.